Hey guys, it's Chad Close from Close Blender. Today we're gonna create a concrete barrier, one that looks similar to this. We are going to go for the basic shape of about that. We are going to model it. We're gonna add a little texture. We'll add some holes in it, and kind of looks like it's beaten up. And then we'll add a bump map to it. We'll texture it. We'll go over some UV wrapping and some basic texturing. I'll be using Photoshop, not GIMP. I have Photoshop CS3. I got it from school, so just gonna use that. So let's just jump right in. So we're just gonna start with the default cube. We are gonna go to ortho, go to front view, grab it, go up along the z-axis and go up 1 so it sits along the x-axis. We shall scale it down on the side to about the width we want, and then scale it along the x to get the length. That should be good. So let's look at the side view. Let's go into edit mode and hit tab. We'll enable limits. Control R to do an edge loop. Add the bottom edge in right there. Next one right about there. And then let's select the top, scale it along the y-axis to about the width of the top. The same with the next one. And let's bring it all down a little bit. Actually, I'll show you guys how to add background. So we'll just save this image, and I'll just save it in my downloads. And then I can hit 3, hit the N key to bring this up, go down to this background images, check the box, add image, and then open, and then go to downloads. Where's downloads? Users, Chad, downloads. Alright, there we go. And then let's all views, change this to right. Let's scale it down a bit, move it up, move it over, .95. That'll work for, we're just trying to get this edge about right. Move this up a little bit. Move this up a little bit. Move this down. And that looks just about good. So we'll just disappear that, close that toolbar. So we have a concrete barrier, pretty much. I mean, you could texture this and model it, but personally this is kind of boring. So let's add a chip in this corner right here. So let's go into edit mode, Control R, add a loop cut. Put one right there, put another one right there, and throw one in right here. And then let's just throw a couple more in on this corner. Let's, I wonder if this will work. Can we use smooth? Oh, it doesn't really work. Selection. I'm just kind of seeing if this works. I don't know if it will. No, we don't want to move these edge ones. So we can just go into sculpt mode. What am I looking for? That did not do what I wanted. We can just do it manually, I guess. The old-fashioned way. I'm just kind of smoosh this whole side in. make sure you leave, like, I didn't want to move these right here. So we still, below it, we still have this clean face. Just keep playing around with it. Again, we're just kind of just playing around with it. Try to get an indent that you like. Nothing too fancy. And then, as you can see, there's kind of this box. We don't want that box, obviously. That's so we can just move these edges up and down. Without really changing too much. Let's see, how can we move this out? No, that does same thing. That'll work. Again, we have that. Alright, we'll just leave it like... How did I do the bottom last time? Control E, edge slide is swift. Nope. We're just gonna have to kind of play around with it then. Move it down and then we'll move it back out. And that looks decently good. We'll just do the same right here. Or actually, we can just move this one down. Move this one over. Just play around with it till you get something that you like. It doesn't have to be too fancy. When you add a bump map and texture, it actually really helps a lot. And these faces really kind of just go away. Looks like there's a big hole right here. Try to get that appearance. That'll work for now. And then we can just, in the middle, let's have like a edge ripped off on the side right here. So we'll just add 2 edge loops. We don't want these jagged, so we'll just scale along the axis and do 0. Do this edge loop, scale x 0, and now they're all flat and good looking. So let's not have it on the same side, let's put it over here. Add another edge loop, add a couple in here, grab these down, the same problem here. Just try to align it as best as possible. You don't want them sticking out because then it looks like you added concrete. And, well, that's impossible. You can't add concrete, so you can, but not in what we're doing. So just play around with these, make it look desirable. So this model could be used in like a war scene or just in the background of a scene that you created and whatnot. Straight lines are your enemy. Straight continuous lines. So that looks pretty good. Now concrete also has rhubarb kind of sticking in it. So what we're gonna do is we'll add some rhubarb in, or rhubarb. Why am I saying rhubarb? Rhubarb. Oh, that's a plant. I don't know. Well, metal bars. That's what we're just gonna call it because I obviously can't talk. So we're gonna click this point and then do Shift C. It's not what I wanted. It's not what I wanted at all. Do not hit Shift C. Alright, my recorder timed out. So, do not hit Shift C, hit Shift S. And then do cursor to selected. And then we'll tap back out into object mode. Add mesh circle. Crank this down to about 16. Rotate it about. And scale it down a bunch. Go into wire mode. Edit mode. Grab it, extrude it out. Kind of make it warped. Let's play around with it. And then extrude it out. Alt M, add it in, and then we're going to add an edge loop here, so when we put a modifier on it, a subsurface modifier, it won't have a rounded edge. Need wire mode. So that'll work for what we're doing. Subdivision, I'm going to get up to 2 views, and then hit the T for the toolbar, and then smooth it down. I'm going to have to recalculate normals. Alright, there we go. Scale it down a little bit. Go into edit mode, and then we'll just shift duplicate this, and we'll hit Control 1 to be on this side, and we'll just add some rebar, metal bar, so that's what we're going to call it, to over here, and sorry, I'm changing views very often. It's just how I model, I guess, I don't know. And that is what we're going to do for the metal of this section. There, so it kind of looks like it's sticking out. It's battered. It's a battered concrete barrier. So let's put a bump map and such on it. So first, what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to unwrap this thing. So I'm just gonna split this area, and over here go to UV image editor by clicking this button and then going to UV image editor. We will first do the concrete barrier. We're going to deselect limits. We're going to go to front view, and we're going to select everything on the front. So all the surfaces on the front, and then it's going to select some behind ones, I guess, because it feels like it. And as you can see, this is the front, so we're going to want that vertex there, but not these. So there we go, we got the entire front, and then we're just going to hit 1, and then we are going to, if I have my fingers on the right spot, hit U, and then project from, actually we'll just do unwrap. No, we don't want to do unwrap. We'll do project from view. There we go. Then we're just going to grab that and we'll throw it up at the top. Then we're going to hit Control 1. We're going to do the same thing with the other side. And then deselect all the extras. Hopefully it does both of them to scale. I'm not sure if it does or not, but we're going to find out. We're going to hope it doesn't, or does. And then we are going to go unwrap, project from view, and it looks like it's the same scale, so that's good. Next, how did I do this? You know, we're going to change it a little bit. We are going to select this. No, that's fine. We're good. We're going to go on this view, select everything over here. Make sure we have the right points selected. We don't want any of these. We want, let's see, we don't want this. We want that one right there. We're going to call that the front, because remember we took this edge and then we took this edge right here to be the front, so we selected these on the past ones. We're going to hit U, project from view, grab that, throw it over here. Now we're going to do that with the same thing on the other side. Select it all. Deselect the random points that it randomly does. Looks good. Hit Control 3, unwrap, project from view, and then we're just going to grab that and throw it over there. Next, we will do the bottom, and we're just going to do it the smart way and go like so. And then hit unwrap, project from view, grab that, throw it over here more, select the whole top, make sure we have all the right ones selected. That looks good, and that looks good. So let's go 7. You unwrap from projected, grab that, and then we're going to select it all, so all of them show up over here. And then we are going to align everything over here, and it looks like they aren't the same, but that won't be a problem. So we're going to put one front there. Oop. Grab this. We're just going to put it over it and then scale it up and then kind of get the right size. That looks just about right. So we're just going to grab that and we're going to throw that down here. Here's the top. We're going to rotate that 90 degrees. Put it over here, and we're just going to want them all neatly put on this grid. And then you're going to want them all about the same like proportions. So that's the length. I should probably do that with the top. So that way with your texture map that you're going to put on, nothing looks distorted or elongated or anything like that, and it'll add much more realism to the model. So that's good. And then let's do the same thing with I hit L right there, so you select and then you hit L, and this should be the same height as these. So right about there. Do the same thing with this one, the perfect side apparently. Decided not to mess with this side. Alright, there we go. So now we have this model nicely unwrapped onto this UV map. So now what we're going to do is we are going to do UV, or image actually, no UV, export UV layout. And let's go to documents, mass modeling videos, create video, files, concrete barrier, UV export. Export it. I'm going to save the model in here. I've been doing the groundhog tutorial from CG Cookie. That's where I pretty much learned everything. It's a good site. You guys should go over there. It's cgcookie.com. Go over there and check them out. They got a lot of videos. Very good group guys. They are very good at what they do. So go check them out. Alright, so we got this. Now we exported that, so let's open up Photoshop. It's loading in my bottom window. Right, here we go. Let's open documents, modeling videos, files, concrete barrier, UV export. So there we go. And it opened down here once again. Alright, so we have the layout that you can see, barely, but it is there. How do we... There we go. Alright, so here is the layout. It's on this layer, so we're just going to add a new layer. And then we're going to want to get some concrete texture. So let's minimize this and put it to this side of the screen if it allows me. I'm going to resize. Alright, I'm back. Sorry, my recorder, I'm back. My recorder cut it out and it's got a 10-minute limit, so that is why it did that. So let's continue. Let's open up the internet. That is not, I must have closed the window because Facebook just opened and it's not what I wanted. So let's just type in concrete texture. If you're going to sell these textures or anything like that, you're going to want to use probably your own, because these could be copyrighted and that would be stealing and that would be good, and I'm not suggesting you should do that. But for your own basics, just for screwing around and making things, it works great just to use the internet. So what you're looking for in here is you're looking for good concrete. You want a pretty big space so you don't have to layer or deal with any of that. You also want a high res picture. Like this one is 3264 by 2448, which is really good. It's high detail. So when you scale it down or scale it up, it's gonna look good. But I am liking this texture right here. So let's download it. Save it to downloads as that concrete texture by something. And we are just going to open that. And I hate how it doesn't have it saved. I'm going to have to go to computer, C, users, Chad. Downloads. What was it again? Concrete texture. Alright, there we go. So we have our concrete texture. So what we're just going to do is we're just going to select it all. And then edit, copy, go over here, edit, paste. And then we're going to do Control T for transform on Photoshop. And we're just holding shift so it scales down proper. And what we're going to do is we're not going to layer it and anything like that. So we're just going to make it a little bigger than the actual thing, but not much. So that way we can just don't have to deal with anything with layering or tiling or stuff like that. So we are just going to duplicate the layer 1 copy, and we're gonna put the same thing on the other side. And it matters if you're gonna put it in a game, you might want to find multiple textures because things won't line up and so forth and so whatnot. So you're gonna want to rotate it or something like that. But if you're just putting in a scene, you're only going to see one side, so no one's going to know that you used the same texture. But just cause I'll rotate it, and that way no one will argue and say it looks funny or anything like that. So let's duplicate it once again. Duplicate layer, grab this, bring it up. And this is the top, so I wish I knew which side was which. Because, as you can see, if this is the top, this is also the top over here. So there's going to be dark spot, and you don't want the top to be light. So we are going to guess, and hopefully we're right. And we are going to guess that it's this corner. Why? Because, I don't know. I just have a gut feeling that it is. I'm going to hope and pray. But since it's Photoshop, you're gonna export it into a JPEG, which is gonna compress all the layers. So we're gonna get this going on, and we don't want that. So we're just gonna use our eraser and erase all this badness. And that looks good. Did I go a little too far? There we go. And save often. It's always good to save. So concrete barrier, we'll just save it as Photoshop in case you want to go and edit in and add some new things to the texture, which I will show you later. Actually, we'll add a little style, as David Ward would put it. I did not making fun of him. He's a great artist, and I am in debt to Blender Cookie. For you users that know who I'm talking about, CG, I talked about them in this video already, but can't talk about them enough. So this looks like the right side, so it's going to be aligned with this. So we're going to want darker up in that corner. So we're going to guess once again, get down to 180 and put it right there, and then we're going to hit enter, eraser. Where's the eraser? There it is. And get rid of that. Probably didn't need to do that because I'm going to put something over it anyways, but it never hurts. Go here, duplicate it once again, Control T, rotate 90, 90, 90, 89.9, 90.1, 90.1. It's good enough, close enough for what we are doing. So that looks good. Hit enter. This is actually the top. That's the bottom. So the bottom really doesn't matter. So this is the messed up part. So we're gonna rotate this one actually 180 degrees. We are going to align this dark spot right there, and we're just gonna hope that we are guessing right. Apply it, go into this eraser tool, try not to erase the actual thing that we want. Doesn't actually matter for this. As long as we get that right there, we look good. And one last thing, we're just going to copy this one up here. Duplicate it. Sorry, this is very repetitive, but something we just have to do. Control T, we're going to rotate it, get the other side, get some other goodies. And there we go. And let's save this. Then we are going to save as JPEG. I like using JPEG. It's low memory and it retains the detail very nice. UV export, we're just going to use that to UV texture. JPEG, and then it's going to come up with this box if you're on Photoshop. Hit OK. Let's open up Blender again, and then we're going to go down to Images, Open Images, UV Texture. And you can't see it in here, but if you go N, Display, and then go down to Textured Solid, there we go, it'll pop up. And look at that, we guessed correctly. Or I guess I did. But there's still a little... This is bad right here. As you can see, it goes dark. Otherwise, the rest, this looks pretty good. This corner looks good. So what we are going to do is we're going to go over here and edit mode. And what we need to do is flip this surface. So if we select some of these points, a couple of these points, and we aren't in this one, get a face. Alright, there we go. So it's this one, so we can just hit A, click down here, link, and then we're going to do, I wonder if this would work, scale Y -1, flip it upside down, and there. That looks much better, the edge isn't as bad, and I am liking what I see. So let's add a bump map, shall we? Because if you kind of look at it, it's not bumpy. It kind of looks pretty lame. So how to make a bump map? We're just going to use the same texture, but what we can do is go back to Photoshop. Oop, that is not good. File, save as, and we're going to save it as a Photoshop. Where we're going to do UV bump map underscore bump map. Okay. Then what we're gonna do is go to image adjustments. I don't know how you do this on GIMP. It's a free Photoshop type of program. You guys should get that if you don't have it. But go down to brightness and contrast. Crank the contrast. Actually, first we're going to take all the layers, control, merge layers. So that way we don't have to do this a bunch of times. Don't worry, I'm back. No fear, I'm still here. So, where were we? We're going to go image, adjustments, brightness and color. Crank the contrast up, change the brightness. Not really dark because for black spots, it'll indent, I think. And white spots, it won't do anything. So we want to get some good contrast between the black and the white spots that are on this image. So we're going to go with that and see how that goes. Yeah. Now we're going to save. I should just save that as normal file. Save. File, save as JPEG. JPEG. Delete copy. This is not even a copy, it's a different format. Save that. Sure, maximum. Computers these days have unlimited memory, so you don't really gotta worry about that. And now, what we are going to do is, it won't show it in the main screen. It might, actually. I don't think it will. I don't know if it doesn't this time. It might. We'll check it out later. But we are just going to set up the scene a little bit. Grab this, bring the light down. Hit 0. You can hit Shift F and you can move around and then scroll in to start moving forward. And that looks good. Next, we are going to add a plane. We're just going to center our 3D cursor. 0 tab, 0 tab. Add mesh plane. Scale that up a bit. And then we're going to first render it in Blender. So we are going to set up materials. So we will first use this main concrete barrier. We're going to go to materials. New materials. And then we'll go to barrier. And barriers, concrete, it's not very shiny, so we're going to crank the hardness up, intensity down, so that's why it's not so shimmery. Then we're going to go to this texture panel, delete that, new texture, and we're going to go to image or movie, open, and then we are going to hit UV texture JPEG. And then on coordinates, we're going to go to UV, and that should do it for that. We're going to add a new texture and we'll call it bump map. Same thing, we're going to go to image or movie, open. We're going to open the bump map this time. On coordinates, we're going to go to UV, and down here we're going to deselect color and select normals and just crank that up a little bit, and we'll have to play around with this. But let's see if this textured. No, it doesn't work. So, that's funny. Let's render it by hitting F12. So, as you can see, our bump map is way, way, way too strong. Concrete is not that bumpy. So we're just going to bring down normals to, say, 1.14. Render this again by hitting F12. That's a little better, but it's still pretty strong. So we're just going to do 1.06, not 11.06. Kind of interested what that would look like, though. F12, not terribly good, but not terribly bad. We're going to crank it down more, because we can, and we want it to look. I'm just going to see what this looks like. Whoa. Bad. 1.03. F12, and that's a little better. It's kind of ugly right here, but we'll deal with it, I guess. Maybe this will help. Escape, edit mode. Select everything, and I think, where is it? UV minimum. Ooh, that is not good. Bad. Control Z. We're not going to do that for sure. So, for now that's fine. We'll select the bottom because this is in Blender, so we're gonna do shadowless. Or no, shadeless. We are going to go down shadeless. Next, we're going to do shadow, receive, shadows only. There we go. And now when we render, you get the shadow over here, and you don't actually get to see the floor. So what that enables, we can just go to world, blend sky, paper sky. Let's get a little brighter. I like going with the tanish world. I don't know why, I just do. So there. Darken it a little maybe. Too similar. Who cares? It's the ground. So there we go. So let's bring this up. So there is a render in Blender. Kind of boring. It's just a cement block. But when do you find cement blocks that don't have graffiti on it? I mean, seriously. So let's let's open bump UV export. Yep. No. File. Open. Is that it? Yeah, it is. Alright. Go here. We are going to go back to the internet because the internet is awesome. And then we are going to type in graffiti. Graffiti. There it is. Images. We're just going to type in graffiti with white background. Pick some random one. This one will work, sure. Copy image, maybe that'll work. Normally it doesn't work for me, so I normally just save them. Paste, but it worked. This is on a new layer, so we are going to use this magical tool called the magic wand. Delete everything that's not the color we want. Select, deselect. Skip the rest of it. Get all the white. I'm just holding shift and selecting all the white spots. White is our enemy here. Oop, that's not white. That is white. And that is not white. So I think we got it all. Delete. And that is good enough for what we are doing. Select, deselect. So what face do we want to? Oh, it's got a kind of background. That's fine. Who cares? Zoom out. Let's go back to Blender and bring this over. Select on it. Go into edit mode. And let's see, we want, since the camera is facing this side, we are going to want this face. And if you remember correctly, this is actually upside down. So what we're going to have to do is go into Photoshop, grab this, bring it down here, Control T, transform it 90 or 180, scale it down, and let's throw it right about there. How about file, save as JPEG, texture, and we will call it texture 1. Save. Okay, go to Blender, image, open texture 1, image, open texture 1. Why is it not opening texture 1? I don't know why it's not opening texture 1. Oh, there we go. So if we go over here, where is it? I do not see it. Oh well. It won't matter because when we select our cube, we go to materials, go to barrier, textures, texture, open, texture 1, and then hit F12, it'll be there. So there we go. We got some graffiti. Looks cool. You can texture and bump map the iron bar. I'm not going to show you guys how to do that. It's kind of self-explanatory. I've shown you guys how to do basic texturing and bump mapping. You can play around with the normals and whatnot to get the desired look that you want. Cycles is different than Blender. How they do it, you use nodes. So let's shift over cycles. Let's just delete this this plane, or just new, and this one will actually show up. So we're just gonna pick a pretty dark color. Rendered 0. Cycles worlds don't look very good, so words just stay with the background. Lights, we're gonna have to change this up a little bit. We're gonna have to shift. Oop, that's shift D. Add some more lights in here. Get some different angles so it's not boring. And there we go. So a little better. So we're gonna select the cube. Textures and stuff are completely different. We're gonna add a new one, barrier 1. Use nodes. We are gonna do diffuse, and then we are gonna bring this up. Down here, we're gonna go to node editor. This, if you're new, node editor is kind of scary at first, but it's very nice actually when you get the hang of it. So we're just gonna shift A, texture. So I'm going a little fast. This video is taking a while. Add image texture. Bring this down here. Color. We'll open our special texture because I liked it. We'll add in input. You don't have to do this because, as you see, it's alright, but you can do input, texture coordinates, move this up here and do UV. We're going to add in another image texture. Image texture. There we go. Grab that. Bring it down here. This one we're going to open the bump map. And UV to coordinates. Sorry, my computer's kind of going slow with everything going on. But you hit it to displacement. And now that you can see the bumps, and it actually looks really good. I kind of like how it is right now. I wouldn't increase it or decrease it. But if you're going to, the way you would do it, I believe, is not add. I've done this once before, and I do not remember how I did it. This is it. It could be output, input, RGB with white, because you want a white background that makes it dull. And I don't know why I moved that. So add that to one shader, add this to the other shader, control, and then you can slice. So that way, so now you see the bumps. Are the bumps even there? No, because this is all wrong. Color. My computer's freaking out. It's not working. It could be backwards. This could be the top, and this one be the bottom. 0.1. Maybe not. So it is not mixed shader. Do not listen to me. I'll be doing this in another episode, I'm sure. What you could do is, I'm going to pause the video and then I'll get back to you when I have. Alright, I'm back. It only took me like 20 seconds to find the right one. I didn't even have to pause it. But what it is, it's this add one. Shift A, color, mix. And then you hit the mix, and then you change the mix to add, and then you can connect this one to the bottom one or the top. I don't think it really matters, but you can just change this factor mode, and as you can see, it changes the bump. I'll just show you real quick. You go to 1, you see how you, if I stop changing it, it's bumpy, and then if I change this to like 0.1, it's fairly smooth. So that is how you render it in cycles. I hope you guys enjoy this video. This is from Close Blender. Please like, subscribe if you like these videos. You can always request some certain one that you guys are having trouble on. I'm producing a lot of videos now, but I'll probably slow down soon and start producing 1 or 2, or 1 a day, or like 4 or 5 a week. That is my schedule. I am a working man and I go to school. Actually, I'm a senior in high school, so not really. But anyway, hope you guys like this. Subscribe. See ya.